This is Part 2, Episode 130. Xiao Yan faintly grinned as he watched the green-faced Yi Chen throw up a mouthful of fresh blood. Xiao Yan's finger gently rubbed a blood-colored storage ring in his hand. This was something that he had snatched from Yi Chen's finger when they had exchanged blows earlier. Since the other party had cursed Xiao Yan and had lost the battle, it was natural that the other party would have to leave something behind. Hand over the storage ring. Yi Chen rubbed away the blood trace on the corner of his mouth. His eyes were scarlet as he stared at Xiao Yan. His fierce manner was just like that of a wild beast. Treat this as a little interest. Xiao Yan laughed softly before speaking in a calm voice. You have already lost this stage match. Take your people and leave. Yi Chen's face was distorted. His eyes were dark and ruthless as he stared at Xiao Yan. The desire to kill surged within his eyes. Clearly, he was unwilling to simply admit defeat. From the way he saw it, the reason he had lost to Xiao Yan was because he had made a mistake in the way he had attacked. If he had been prepared, he would not have ended up defeated in such an ugly fashion. A denseness also surged onto the face of Chen Tiannan while Yi Chen's face was green. He had underestimated Xiao Yan. It was unexpected that even Demon Yi from the Profound Sky sect, whose reputation was extremely fierce, would end up being defeated by Xiao Yan's hands. Looking at it this way, Xiao Yan could be considered outstanding even among the younger generation across the Central Plains region. Moreover, no one would forget this young man, who had defeated Yi Chen, also possessed superb alchemist abilities that surpassed many elders within the Pill Tower. Although Xiao Yan was not the only one who had managed to obtain such results in both Do Qi and alchemist skills, he was definitely an extremely rare existence by being able to reach this stage at such a young age. This person must not be allowed to live. Otherwise, he will definitely cause trouble in the future. A dense killing intent flashed across Chen Tiannan's heart. His eyes were rotated as he suddenly stepped forward. With a flash, his body had appeared around 10 feet in front of Xiao Yan. A cold cry exploded within the square like thunder. Uneducated brat. You actually snatched someone else's thing when sparring. Did your teach not teach you the necessary etiquette? Chen Tiannan's large hand penetrated through empty space after his cry sounded. He mercilessly grabbed at Xiao Yan's head. Looking at this situation, Xiao Yan's head would burst apart with a bang like a watermelon if it was firmly grabbed by him. Chen Tiannan. Qiu Ling's expression changed as he stood outside of the stone stage. He yelled Chen Tiannan's name in anger. Chen Tiannan acted as though he did not hear the furious cry of Qiu Ling. At this moment, his desire to kill Xiao Yan had already reached a peak. If he did not personally kill Xiao Yan today, it was likely that he would have difficulty sleeping and eating in peace in the future. Rat, repay my son's life. Chen Tiannan revealed a ferocious face. Just when his palm was about to make contact with Xiao Yan, a cold smile surfaced on Xiao Yan's face. Xiao Yan flicked his finger, and a dark golden figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Chen Tiannan's hand heavily slammed into the dark golden body. A clear metallic sound appeared. The frightening destructive force on his hand did not cause the golden body to shake even a little. Chen Tiannan's palm fell. Waves of a numbing feeling were suddenly transmitted from his palm, causing his expression to immediately change. He raised his eyes, only to see an expressionless hole of a face. After which, the figure's dark golden fist scattered the air. A punch without any fancy moves smashed toward Chen Tiannan's head. Faced with this bright golden fist, the pores all over Chen Tiannan's body suddenly stood up. His mighty Do Qi gathered on his palm as it hurriedly met with the fist. Bang! A low, deep sound appeared in the air as an invisible wind fluctuation spread out with lightning-like speed. The stone stage, which had turned into rock fragments, burst apart and formed a layer of dust on the ground. The fist and palm crossed each other. One could watch as Chen Tiannan immediately flew backwards. He quickly landed, and his feet took over a dozen heavy steps back. Only then did he raise his head in shock, and look at the dark golden puppet in front of Xiao Yan. The waves of numbness being transmitted from his hand caused a monstrous wave to surge in his heart. With his eyesight, he was naturally able to tell that the dark golden human figure was a puppet. However, the strength of this puppet caused his entire body to feel an icy chill. A Dozun class puppet. Chen Tiannan felt a dryness surging into his mouth when he thought of this. An ordinary person was unable to reach this stage even after training for all one's life. However, a puppet of this fellow actually possessed such a frightening strength. Chen Tiannan withdrew in a deflated manner. The group of experts from the profound Xian sect immediately drew shiny weapons from their storage rings. Their faces were filled with murderous desire as they stared at Xiao Yang. From their appearance, it seemed that they would charge forward and turn Xiao Yang into mincemeat once Chen Tiannan gave the order. Two figures slowly appeared beside Xiao Yang while these people drew their weapons. Their ice-cold eyes swept over the square. The vast and mighty Do Qi that vaguely spread from them caused these fierce, evil people to withdraw 2 steps in shock. 2 Dozuns. The ones who had appeared beside Xiao Yang were naturally the little fairy doctor and Qian Huozunja. The two of them had not intervened earlier because they were aware that Xiao Yang could deal with the so-called demon Yi. However, they had not expected Chen Tiannan to suddenly attack. Chen Tiannan's face underwent a slight change as he watched the little fairy doctor and Qian Huozunja appear. He was naturally able to sense the strengths of the two. They were genuine Dozuns. Moreover, the most frightening thing was that the young, beautiful, white-clothed lady vaguely gave him a dangerous feeling when he looked at her. Additionally, the thing that really caused his heart to sink was the sky demon puppet that stood in front of Xiao Yang without moving. After the earlier exchange, Chen Tiannan clearly understood in his heart that if they were to really fight, just the puppet alone was going to give him a difficult time. This brat is really mysterious. There are so many experts beside him. Even without the protection of the Pill Tower, these people who have come today wouldn't be able to do anything to them. Chen Tiannan's mouth twitched a little. After weighing the situation repeatedly, his face became green. He realized that the people he had brought would likely be killed by the other party should a battle really break out. 3 elite Dozuns. Even with the great foundation of his profound Xian sect, he was unable to produce a lineup that could compare to it. Faced with this sudden change in situation, Chen Tiannan ended up feeling a little embarrassed. His group was unable to fight with the other party. What could he do? Yi Chen's expression had also changed because of this scene. Although there were very few people among the younger generation who could surpass him, he still had to hold back his arrogance in the face of an expert Dozun. The peak of the Dozone class and the Dozun class were 2 completely different concepts. It was difficult to measure their gap. Currently, 3 elite Dozuns had suddenly appeared by Xiao Yang's side. It was likely that Chen Tiannan's aim in maneuvering such a large number of people was not going to be fulfilled. Any words were useless in front of true strength. If they had been able to take out 10 elite Dozuns, there was no need for them to even say anything. They could simply attack and capture Xiao Yang. Unfortunately, the number of Dozuns they currently had not only was not 10, but was even a little less compared to Xiao Yang's side. How were they going to fight? Sect leader Chen, you have made enough of a fuss today. If this continues, it is likely that even the 3 association heads will not be able to overlook this matter. Qiu Ling's expression was dark and solemn. Chen Tiannan had come to create trouble at the entrance of the Pill Tower. It would not benefit the Pill Tower if word of this spread. However, it was fortunate that Xiao Yang was full of abilities. Not only did he successfully withstand this calamity, but he had even violently slapped the profound Xian sect. Chen Tiannan's expression slightly changed upon hearing Qiu Ling's words. The eyes of Yi Chen became cold as he spoke in a dense chilly voice. Could it be that Elder Qiu thinks that it is so easy to take the things of my profound sky sect? This is called the spoils of a fight. Xiao Yang smiled and corrected. His smiling face caused Yi Chen's eyes to appear, as though they were about to spit out flames. Brat, you better not use the glib of tongue on the old me, Chen Tiannan coldly laughed. However, before he could finish speaking, an ice-cold voice suddenly resounded over the entire square. Sect leader Chen, it is time that this farce ends today. If you continue with your trouble, you should not blame the Pill Tower for not giving you face. Moreover, Yi Chen, if you represent the profound sky sect as enemies of the Pill Tower, you can return immediately. I want to see just how Qian Mingzi will reply to you. The space in front of Xiao Yang slowly distorted when that icy-cold voice sounded. Immediately Xian Yi slowly walked out of the distortion. Her eyes contained a fierceness. There was an incredible amount of prestige in her stare. Qiu Ling by the side hurriedly bowed and greeted Xian Yi when he saw her appearing at this moment. The faces of Chen Tiannan and Yi Chen drastically changed. Xian Yi's status and reputation far surpassed theirs. Even if the chief of the profound sky sect, Qian Mingzi, were here, it was likely that he would have to be polite to her. In an instant, even someone as proud as Yi Chen felt perspiration pouring down like rain. He might have spoken in a mighty manner earlier, but he also understood that the profound sky sect would definitely not offend the pill tower over Xiao Yang. Since Association head Xian Yi has stepped forward, the matter today shall end here for now. However, if the old me discovers the truth, I will definitely not just leave the matter as it is. The mouth of Chen Tiannan trembled for a moment. Finally, he clenched his teeth and threw out some ruthless but superficial words. He then swung his sleeve and directed his group to leave in a dispirited manner. He did not expect even a giant head of the pill tower to personally step forward, because of a Xiao Yang. Watching Chen Tiannan withdraw, Yi Chen could only grit his teeth unwillingly. His eyes were dark and dense as he glanced at Xiao Yang. After which, he swung his sleeves and left. His back was accompanied by a miserable appearance. Xiao Yang involuntarily shook his head, as he watched these people leave in a dispirited manner. He tossed the blood-red storage ring in his hand and spoke with a faint smile. A group of people, who only knows how to bully others by using another's strength. Why did you show yourself in the face of such matters? Xiaoling would naturally have helped you avoid them. Xian Yi turned around and involuntarily reprimanded Xiao Yang. The other party even set up a battle stage and issued a challenge. Could I shrink back? Xiao Yang laughed. Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with you. Your character is the same as that old fellow. Xian Yi helplessly shook her head. She turned around and walked to the pill tower. When passing by Xiao Yang, a soft voice was transmitted into his ear. Come in. We have obtained information related to the place where Yao Chen is imprisoned. The smile on Xiao Yang's face slowly disappeared when he heard her words. Replacing it was a stern, densely cold face. Human figures were scattered around in some seats within a spacious hall. The atmosphere within the hall was quite solemn. Ever since Xiao Yang had walked into the large hall, he had been staring intently at Xian Kongzi trio. Even his breathing had become a little hurried because of his excitement. It had been around 5 or 6 years since Yao Lao had been captured back then until now. Although Yao Lao's life had not been at risk during these 5 or 6 years, the suffering he had endured was definitely unbelievable. All of Xiao Yang's abilities had come about because Yao Lao paved the way for him. It was due to Yao Lao that Xiao Yang had been able to reach such a height. Hence, as long as it was something related to Yao Lao, Xiao Yang's emotions would fluctuate a little. Little fellow, do not allow your mind to become chaotic. Rescuing Yao Lao is not a simple matter. If anything wrong occurs midway, it would be equivalent to delivering a goat to the mouth of a tiger. Xian Kongzi involuntarily shook his head and spoke when he saw Xiao Yang's eyes. Xiao Yang gently nodded upon hearing Xian Kongzi's scolding words. Xiao Yang took a couple of deep breaths and suppressed his fluctuating mind. His eyes once again recovered their calmness. He softly asked, why was the information regarding this collected so quickly? It cannot be considered quick. If one wanted to really talk about it, we have collected this information for nearly a year in order to obtain this news. However, we have only managed to confirm it now. Xian Kongzi smiled as he answered. Where has the Hall of Souls transferred, teacher? Xiao Yang's eyes did not blink as he stared at Xian Kongzi and swiftly asked. Xian Kongzi smiled. He took out a map scroll from his storage ring before spreading it apart on the table. His finger pointed to the northwestern part of the Central Plains and said, there are quite a number of secretive branch halls within the Central Plains of the Hall of Souls. An ordinary person would not be able to discover them. There is a Death Soul mountain range in the northwestern region. That place hides a branch hall of the Hall of Souls. Has teacher been transferred to this Death Soul mountain range's branch hall? Xiao Yang's eyes flickered as he asked. Yes. Xian Kongzi slightly nodded and said, this Death Soul mountain range can be considered a dangerous place within the Central Plains. For some unknown reason, the cold qi in that place is extremely dense. Cold fog covers the sun. If one were to randomly barge in, one would end up lost within it. Moreover, there are quite a number of powerful and unusually bloodthirsty magical beasts within the mountain range. It is extremely troublesome to deal with them. Probably the reason why the Hall of Souls established a branch hall is because the concealment of this place had caught its eye. Death Soul Mountain Range. Xiao Yang softly muttered this name in his mouth. Since he was aware of the location where Yao Lao was being imprisoned, he would definitely make an attempt without hesitation even if he had to enter an extremely treacherous place. How many experts are there in that Hall of Souls branch hall? How many Dozuns are there? The little fairy doctor, by the side, softly posed the most important question. Xiao Yan would become a little excited when he met with anything related to Yao Lao. At this moment, she could only pay more attention to the situation. Xiao Yan also became clear-headed after hearing the little fairy doctor's question. He hurriedly nodded. This was the most important question. If they were unable to clearly probe the other party's defensive strength, randomly barging in would only deliver themselves to be captured. The Hall of Souls really values Yao Chen. The defensive strength watching him is definitely not too weak. Based on the information we have obtained, there is likely 5 elite Dozuns guarding the Death Soul Mountain range. Even Xian Kongzi's expression had become a little more serious when he spoke until this point. 5 Dozuns. This lineup was extremely powerful even when placed within the Central Plains. It belonged to the level where all they needed to do was stomp their feet, and many top-tier factions would be frightened to the point of peeing their pants. 5 Dozuns. Xiao Yang's expression changed slightly upon hearing this. His mouth involuntarily inhaled a gentle breath of cool air. This strength was really a little too great. The Hall of Souls had dispatched 5 Dozuns just to guard a branch hall. This lineup was sufficient to wash a top-tier faction in blood. The little fairy doctor and Tian Huozunja also had faces that were a lot more grave. Clearly, they were shaken by the strength of this Hall of Souls. Xiao Yan calculated that there were, at the very most, 3 Dozuns beside him if he included the Sky Demon puppet. Currently, he was also able to hold back an elite Dozun. However, if he were to face 2 of them, it was likely that he could only turn around and flee. Now, we can only wait for Feng Zunja to come. If we add him, we should close to enough enormous people to give it a try, Xiao Yang mused in his heart. Are these all the Dozuns in that branch hall? The little fairy doctor fell silent for a moment before asking again. Based on the information we got our hands on, there should only be 5 Dozuns. However, the branch hall definitely still has some Hall of Souls protectors. Their combined fighting strength would also be quite strong, Xian Kongzi said. Those protectors cannot be considered much trouble. However, all of you need to beware of meeting a Tianzuan, Xian Yi by the side spoke with a grave face. Tianzuan. Xiao Yang's group was startled when they heard this foreign name. The Hall of Souls protectors are divided into the Sky, Earth, and Man category. Although the Honorable Elders do not have such a strict division, they are similarly divided according to rank. Tianzuan are the strongest experts among the Honorable Elder ranking. As for their strength, the only thing you need to know is that even old Mu Jiyu is not qualified to be a Tianzuan in the Hall of Souls. Xian Yi explained in a deep voice. Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. Old Mu Gu's strength should be around that of a 3-star Dozun. Even he did not possess the qualification to be a Tianzuan. Would it not be the case that these Tianzuans of the Hall of Souls were all at least 5-star Dozuns? Even with Xiao Yang's calmness, his brows were involuntarily knit when he thought of this. There was vast difference between every level within the Dozun class. Many Dozuns had spent dozens of years without being able to raise their strength by 1 star. From this, one could tell just what kind of terrifying gap was present between every star within the Dozun class. 5-star Dozuns. It was likely that even the combined strength of Little Fairy Doctor and the Sky Demon Puppet would be able to fight them, but then the originally few Dozuns on Xiao Yang's side would be even more limited. This Hall of Souls is indeed terrifying. Xiao Yang exhaled a deep breath of air. Even though he really did not wish to admit it, he still involuntarily emitted a sigh at this moment. Even across the entire continent, it was likely hardly anyone could fight against such a terrifying strength with the exception of those factions that had originated since ancient times like the Jiyu clan. There is no need to worry. Tianzuns have extremely high positions within the Hall of Souls. They will usually not easily reveal themselves. 5 Dozuns guarding Yao Chen. This is already an extremely high standard. If another Tianzuan is added, it would cause one to feel incredulous. Xian Kongzi waved his hand and spoke when he saw Xiao Yang's solemn expression. Xiao Yang slightly nodded. At this moment, he could only think in this manner. Since the status of these fellows was so high, it was unlikely for them to stay in a branch hall for no reason. After all, an expert should have the eccentricness of an expert. This is the information that we have obtained. The Pill region is not far from the Death Soul Mountain range. It should be enough to reach there in 5 days or so. Xian Kongzi slowly spoke. After which, he took out a goatskin scroll and handed it to Xiao Yang. This is the map of the interior of the Death Soul Mountain range. The branch hall of the Hall of Souls is located in the middle of the mountain range. Xiao Yang received the map and opened it. After which, he carefully studied the map. The map was extremely detailed. Although the cold fog within the mountain range was extremely dense, relying on such a precise map to successfully enter the range would not be too difficult. Thank you very much, old Xian. Xiao Yang stored the map in his storage ring, cupped his hands together, and thanked Xian Kongzi. This is merely a trivial matter. However, this is all we can help you with. All of you will have to rely on yourselves for the final action. Xian Kongzi waved his hand and sighed. Xiao Yang smiled and said, if the Pill Tower had not helped us gather information, we do not know just when it would have been until we had found the location where teacher is imprisoned. Therefore, this is not a trivial matter. Xian Kongzi bitterly smiled and nodded. He asked, when are all of you preparing to act? Xiao Yang mused for a moment before replying, this operation must be well prepared. Therefore, we must wait until Feng Zunja hurries over. Oh? Ha ha, that old fellow her. Xian Kongzi involuntarily laughed when he heard Feng Zunja being mentioned. He said, that old fellow has an extremely good relationship with Yao Chen. Finding him will indeed be of great help. Moreover, he is extremely experienced. With him following all of you, we will definitely feel more reassured. Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. Feng Zunja could be considered a renowned expert across the Central Plains region. He had frequently come into contact with the Hall of Souls during the years he had searched for traces of Yao Lao. With him joining this operation, they would be able to understand a little more about the Hall of Souls. He would also boost their confidence in finally rescuing Yao Lao. Even though this is the case, let's wait for news from the old fellow. With his speed, it should be possible for him to reach the Pill region in half a month's time. Xian Kongzi fondled his beard and laughed. Xiao Yang slightly smiled slightly. Half a month. During this half a month, he needed to try his best to raise the strength of their group. It was time to refine the fungus green pill for Qian Huazunja. If the strength of the people on his side was a little stronger, the chances of them succeeding would also increase. However, no matter how much more his conviction grew, this trip would be the most dangerous and important operation that Xiao Yang has ever undertaken. Therefore, he needed to do his best. He must not allow even the slightest reason to cause any mistake to occur during this operation. After chatting a little with Xian Kongzi and the others about areas they should take note of relating to the Hall of Souls and the Death Soul Mountain range, Xiao Yang ceased remaining any longer. He directed the little fairy doctor and the rest as they cupped their hands together and bade the others goodbye. After which, they hurriedly left. They were currently pressed for time, and they could not afford to squander it. Xian Kongzi and the two others exchanged looks with each other after watching Xiao Yang's group's backs leave through the door. They also softly sighed. Hopefully this trip of theirs will be smooth. It has been many years since anyone has witnessed someone snatch a person from the hands of the Hall of Souls. I wonder if they will succeed this time around. Xiao Yang was seated cross-legged on the bed within his room. His finger was rubbing a blood-red storage ring in his hand. It was the ring he had forcefully snatched from Yi Chen's hand. This fellow possessed a high position within the profound sky sect. It was likely that the things within the ring would not be too lousy. This is interest. Xiao Yang softly laughed. A thought passed through his mind and a trace of spiritual strength spread from between his brows. After which, it invaded the blood-red storage ring. However, the spiritual strength had just made contact with the ring when it was repelled by a force. A spiritual imprint has been placed on it, Xiao Yang raised his eyebrows when his spiritual strength was repelled. The strength of that Yi Chen was quite great. However, if they were to compare his strength in terms of spiritual strength, it was likely that even 10 Yi Chen were unable to surpass Xiao Yang. This kind of spiritual imprint appeared to be without any defensive properties from Xiao Yang's point of view. Xiao Yang's finger gently rubbed over the blood-red storage ring. A vast and mighty strength surged out like floodwaters. One could hear a slight cracking sound as the spiritual imprint within the storage ring was forcefully removed by Xiao Yang. After easily removing the spiritual imprint on the storage ring, Xiao Yang's spiritual strength finally entered it without any obstacles. He briefly searched it and a blood-red scroll appeared in his hand with a flash. Blood Evil Skill. Xiao Yang swept his eyes over the scroll. After which, they paused on the 3 blood-red words at the top. A wave of a dense bloody scent immediately poured out of it. Xiao Yang carefully opened the scroll. He briefly glanced at the introduction to this chi method within the scroll, and his brows were involuntarily knit. A moment later, he softly said, "It is indeed bloody. This kind of chi method is far too evil and also far too cruel. Swallowing the flesh and blood of others to absorb the other party's do chi. This kind of tactic is really vicious. This so-called blood evil skill could be considered a top-level chi method even within the Profound Sky sect." This was something that could be observed from how Yi Chen managed to rely on it to reach the peak of the Do Zone class, when he was only around 30 years old. Although there were other reasons like his outstanding talent, most of it was due to the unusual process of this blood evil skill. However, this kind of tactic that relies on absorbing the strength of others to become stronger is not considered an excellent one. If one absorbs too much Do Chi, one's own Do Chi will have difficulty becoming pure. After reaching a certain level, one would have difficulty advancing even an inch forward. Unless one scatters one's power and retrains, one would even gradually suffer a backlash from the impure Do Chi. After briefly reading this so-called blood evil skill, Xiao Yang also managed to find some of the drawbacks of this chi method. This thing would allow one to swiftly grow strong, but the sequelae was really too great. Moreover, the process was also extremely cruel and bloody. Unless it was someone who was naturally cold and indifferent, one would not be able to practice this kind of chi method. Profound Sky Sect, what an evil sect. Xiao Yang shook his head and randomly stored this blood evil skill into his storage ring. No matter how one put it, this could barely be considered a DI class high-level chi method. If he took it out to be auctioned in the future, he would definitely be able to exchange it for some extremely valuable items. After Xiao Yang took the blood evil skill, he searched for a while, but he did not find anything else that could interest him. Just when he planned on giving up, his sweeping spiritual strength suddenly stopped in a certain part of the storage ring. There was an inconspicuous, grey scroll. Xiao Yang could vaguely sense a faint killing intent seeping out of the scroll. This is... Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. This kind of killing aura was something that he was familiar with. After recalling this familiarity, he finally discovered that it seemed to be powerful Do skill that Yi Chen had used near the end of their match. It contained a murderous aura that seemed to snatch the mind of another. Xiao Yang clenched his hand. A grey-colored scroll appeared in it. He flicked his finger and pulled it open. A couple of ordinary words, permeated with killing intent, appeared in his sight. Heaven Offering Demon Hand. Xiao Yang softly mumbled those words. A glint flashed across his eyes at the same time. This thing was indeed the final attack that Yi Chen had displayed earlier. When they had fought earlier, Xiao Yang had personally experienced the strength of this so-called Heaven Offering Demon Hand. That sharp killing intent was indeed extremely strong. Fortunately, Yi Chen had clearly yet to master it to its peak. His killing aura had been significantly diluted, perhaps because the bloody chi in his body was overly dense. This heaven-offering demon hand required an unhesitating desire to kill. Such a killing desire was born from one's thoughts. It was not something that could be supplemented by relying on blood chi. This thing could be considered one of the ultimate skills of the Profound Sky sect. Its strength is definitely beyond what Yi Chen had displayed. That fellow is far too arrogant. This caused him to be unable to understand the true meaning of the heaven-offering demon hand. Xiao Yang carefully studied this scroll, before exhaling a deep breath, and speaking with some interest. Based on Xiao Yang's guess, if this heaven-offering demon hand were to be fully unleashed, its might would likely only be able surpassed if one learned the fifth seal of the God Seal skill. This thing was indeed unique for it to become an ultimate skill within the Profound Sky sect. Xiao Yang's hand gently rubbed the scroll. The smile on his face became more dense. It was unexpected that Yi Chen would deliver such a treasure this time around. If Xiao Yang was able to learn this heaven-offering demon hand, his fighting strength would definitely rise. He would also possess an additional fighting technique when battling with others in the future. Moreover, they would begin their operation to rescue Yao Lao very soon. By having this heaven-offering demon hand delivered to him, it must be said that Yi Chen was just like a timely downpour. Due to the need to wait for the arrival of Feng Zunjia, Xiao Yang's group still had time to prepare. Though, such a dangerous operation would appear rushed no matter how long one had to prepare. Hence, Xiao Yang had once again chosen to undertake a retreat after having obtained the information from the three great heads. During this retreat, Xiao Yang not only needed to help Tian Huozunja refine the fungus green pill before Feng Zunja arrived, but he would also need to find some time to familiarize and practice the heaven offering demon hand. One additional skill would mean an additional net of safety. Similarly, it would also mean that his confidence to succeed would increase. Regardless of whether this would be insignificant or not, it would be better prepare more in order to rescue Yao Lao. The little fairy doctor and the others were helpless in the face of Xiao Yang's somewhat crazy retreat. After having followed Xiao Yang around for so many years, she was aware of just how much effort Xiao Yang had put in to rescue his teacher. Now that everything was falling into place, he would naturally not dare to relax even a little. Being influenced by Xiao Yang, the little fairy doctor and Tian Huozunja did not leave during this period of time. They understood the importance of this operation to Xiao Yang. Therefore, they tried to increase their strength a little in order to boost their likelihood of success. The insane training of these people caused Xian Kongzi and the rest to feel a little helpless. However, they could empathize with them. Hence, they issued the order not to disturb Xiao Yang's group. Moreover, they had even dispatched some female servants there. If Xiao Yang lacked something during his pill refinement, the pill tower would swiftly deliver it to him. Half a year quietly passed while Xiao Yang undertook a retreat where he forgot to eat or sleep. During this half a month, the pill tower was faced with a commotion. This commotion was due to a thundercloud suddenly appearing in the sky above the pill tower. Moreover, there were two faint colors in the thundercloud. The thundercloud was surprisingly a two-colored pill lightning. From the looks of it, it was obvious that some alchemist guru within the pill tower had refined a tier 8 medicinal pill. When they felt surprised at the pill lightning lingering in the sky, a golden light was suddenly emitted from the pill tower. After which, the light floated in the sky and received the violent strike from the two-colored pill lightning in front of a countless number of speechless people. Next, the light landed without being hurt and disappeared in a flash. The people from the pill tower were familiar with this scene. When the golden-colored figure appeared, all of them understood New was refining a tier 8 medicinal pill, the champion of this pill gathering, Xiao Yang. Admiration filled quite a number of alchemists when they figured out who was refining this pill. Tier 8 medicinal pills were too far for them to reach. However, it appeared as though those pills were readily available to the hands of Xiao Yang, who appeared even younger than them. This kind of comparison caused them to feel embarrassed. One should really not compare two different people. 2 days after the pill lightning ended, Xiao Yang finally left his half-a-month-long retreat. However, his disheveled appearance appeared quite miserable. Although Xiao Yang looked miserable, it did not hinder the excitement on his face. After failing 3 times, he had finally successfully refined the fungus green pill. Tian Huozunja, who had been guarding Xiao Yang's room outside, revealed a stunned expression when he saw Xiao Yang's miserable appearance. However, when Xiao Yang tossed him a deep green, round medicinal pill with a strong spiritual aura, he was instantly excited. Without saying anything unnecessary, he grabbed the medicinal pill and entered another chamber. Watching how quickly he left, Xiao Yang involuntarily laughed. During this retreat, he had not only managed to successfully refine the fungus green pill, he had also gained a basic understanding of the heaven offering demon hand. On the whole, he had acquired a lot. Xiao Yang finally rested after having left his retreat and having prepared everything he needed to. He calmly recuperated for 2 days before his condition returned to its peak. The only thing that he needed to do was to wait Feng Zunja to arrive. After which, they would leave and rescue Yao Lao. Xiao Yang's wait did not last very long. On the 5th day after he had left his retreat, Xiao Yang was practicing the heaven offering demon hand, but he suddenly stood up from his chair. He sensed a familiar, mighty aura appearing within his area of perception at this moment. Feng Zunja had arrived. Part 2 end here.